Once I decided to buy a team, I wanted to help the youth. I just wanted to give back to my country, give back to the young generation, you know, and create an opportunity for those kids to have a platform just to succeed. And they're ready to attack life and just be happy. That's the main thing that I wanted to accomplish.
My name is Maureen Rea. I'm the head of student affairs and recruitment here at the Tony Parker Adequate Academy. I make sure that every student here can feel good and can be in the best conditions to express themselves. We want to mix elite students with others who are not elite. For us, they're all academy students.
You have 2 kids, right?
2, yeah.
2, huh? How old are they?
8 and 6.
Oh,
You'll see them because they were finishing school at 12:15.
Oh,
so
nice.
I asked my people to go get them.
To go get them.
They're here. I think they're here already.
But do they play basketball or not?
No, they prefer soccer.
They prefer.
Yeah.
That's what Lucas started.
They prefer soccer, and they did a camp with Real Madrid, and
Really?
they love
Interesting,
it.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
My brother.
Yeah. Man, I never thought I would see you here, man. You know, okay?
It's a long time ago. How are
All the
you?
way to here in Lyon. I'm doing good. Doing good.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hey,
Yeah.
how are you?
Good.
Billy, in the academy.
How is everything?
It's good, man.
Good, eh? It's great, man.
Thank you.
Ooh,
It's
we
really
went
great.
to the class. Also it's amazing.
Been working very hard on this one. It's like a 5-year project, and so when he gave me the land, I was so happy because I was like, that's really what I wanted to do. Because people, you know, they do shortcuts. You know, they think it's just like a youth center for Asvel, but that's just a small piece of everything we're doing here. We're going to do a big thing with the music here too.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And the building is amazing, and all the organization is amazing.
She was one of our first hire, Maureen. She's in charge of like all the kids. And so every time, like when I was interviewing her, I was like, you know, it's my name. Everything has to be perfect, like the parents, blah, blah, blah. We can't disappoint, you know, the parents, the kids. Because the slogan here is you come to the academy, you get a job. That's like our slogan.
Wow.
So it's a huge responsibility. So we have a company here called Adequate. We have a 12-year contract with them, and their job is to find jobs for kids, you know?
Wow.
Because I know that 95% of those kids who come here, they're not going to be basketball professional or e-sport. So our job is to make sure that they realize that, and we find another passion when they're here to make sure that when they come out, they're successful and they have a job.
You really do an amazing job, I mean, because I think it's really important. They are really young, so it's important when they go in this age, especially for mental health, I think that's important.
And I think it's our job to push them.
My first day over there in the academy was a good moment for me because I was with my friend, I was with my teammate. Everything over there looked perfect. It was a good moment, and what I learned the most in the academy over there is to be organized, to be on time at practice, to be, you know, the type of guy who respects everything. That's what I learned the most here in the academy.
Strazel.
The games against FS, it was the reigning champions, you know, so for sure beat the reigning champions like that. Whereas we were down 19 is something special for sure, so yeah. To me, it's the best game of the season now.
Strazel fires it out to Lacombe for a deep 2, and that goes. Under pressure, Manson. Strazel takes it on, and oh, lovely pass. Oh, and it was the teenager Strazel.
I felt excited. That type of games is always special with our fans and our crowd, so I was excited to win that game.
Two of the youngsters, two of the future prospects for Asvel, showing that the future is now. with a big hit there. Drives in, finds the lane, and it's put back brilliantly. Antetokounmpo gives them the lead with 12 seconds to play. A last chance here for Anadolu Efes to at least tie it up. Maybe they can win it with a three. Larkin goes one way, goes the other, hangs it up, it rims out. Unbelievable scenes here at the Astro Bal. What a comeback for TJ Parker and his team.
Tony Parker is like the role model for me. I remember one thing that he said, when you're telling to somebody what's your dream, if he doesn't answer that you're crazy, it's maybe you don't dream big enough, you know. So that's something that I remember that he told me.
If you can do that, you can beat anybody. That's what they'll be thinking.
I think the most important, I'm gonna give you a basic answer, but you gotta work harder than everybody on the team. You gotta work hard, trust in your coaches, trust in your staff, trust in you, and at least you've done the most to reach your goals.
What a night for this team. It's a squad that is blending and coming together, and you just get the sense we've nowhere near seen the best of what Asvel Villeurbanne have got to offer this Turkish Airlines EuroLeague this season. There could be something special brewing here.
If we focus a bit on how you were before being a professional player, like do you have main memories from this time? Like did you always wanted to be a player?
Me personally, yes. I wanted to play basketball and I wanted to play in the professional, but you know, I was thinking only the time that I was playing. Let's say I was so happy when I played basketball. This was my love, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, now I have kids. I don't want to push them to go to play basketball. You have to love it. But I have dreams, I have ambitions, and I wanted to be the best that I could be.
I don't know, like, how was it for Luca as well? Like, did you always knew you would become pro, or like, was there another dream on the way?
Actually, I mean, honestly, as his mom, I never thought about if he's going to be a pro athlete or not, because, you know, parents, we just want our kids to be happy and that's it. But I have to say, I knew that basketball is his passion since probably day one when he started to walk. Also, when he left home so early with 13, he knew exactly what he wants to be.
Yeah, so, 13 he left. And that's the youngest that we recruit. She was 13.
Actually, I think he was the youngest. Even before in Real Madrid, I think usually they were 14 more, but he was 13.
13 is young. Because now that I have a kid and he's going to be almost 8, it's like thinking like in 5 years he's out of the house.
Like, what? No way.
No way.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard. I was a little bit scared in the beginning because first I said, maybe Luca you can think about, but he looked me in my eyes and he said, Mom, I want to try. So that was the moment I knew I have to let him go. He's gonna feel lonely probably in the beginning. He didn't have friends. He didn't speak Spanish.
Yeah, it was the language barrier. And
the
that's
language,
tough.
and it was tough. Yeah. So when he came there, it was tough. First few months, but when he started to speak Spanish, it was much easier, yeah. Since day one, Luca started to walk. He was crazy about basketball. Even when he had the birthdays, for the present, he always said, I want to have a ball or sneakers. That's it. When Luca left home, he was 13 years old, so everybody who has kids, they know what means 13 years old.
Trophy winner is Luka Doncic from Real Madrid.
Luka was very clear what he wants to do, but I think as a mother, the most important thing was to support him. Because as a mom, for me it was just important that he's happy. He's doing what he likes. And if you're an adult, you know that for success, it's a lot of things. So not just talent, hard work, a lot of other obstacles. So I was never thinking about this. I was just wanting him to be happy, and that's it.
Luka, you're a young player, great player. We love your game. Growing up, did you model your game after American player or European player?
I would say some of everything. You know, obviously I watched LeBron, and I had great teammates back in Spain, like Sergio Llull, Rudy Fernandez, Felipe Reyes. You know, they're great Spanish teammates. I learned a lot from them. And I mostly watched Spanulis. I don't know if you guys know him, but he played in Olympiacos. But you know, I think just parts of every player, That's how I see it.
The biggest smile in my face and the biggest thing that I achieved in my career is that they told me that, and I listened from many players, that I inspired them. I inspired such a talented guy like Luka. And you know, you inspire a person with your character, not only with your game. I wanted to ask you, like a mother, how difficult it is to, when your kid tell you that in 13 years old that he is going to Madrid, but you answer the question. It's difficult, but you have to follow the wish.
You have to follow the wish. I mean, I knew I had to follow the wish, but it was probably the toughest decision in my life.
Yeah, but you also knew that he's really good and he can be successful.
Yeah, but you're not thinking about this,
yes.
You know. You
about other stuff you're thinking.
I was thinking more about his, like we were talking before, about mental things, you know. Because if you do the bad decision when he's 13, this can be a lifetime something. Can affect him for a lifetime. So I didn't know it's the right decision. I tried to be strong in front of him, I have to say. I think he never saw me crying because I was crying a lot. But yeah, I didn't know.
I'm always amazed about all the parents that does all those sacrifice, leaving a job or following, especially, you know, tennis or all those sports. It's tough for parents. They just dedicate their life and it's not easy.
And when you left to INSEP, how did you decide to go there? Like, was it your parents' choice? Was it
No, it was my choice. Same as Luka. My mom was like crying a lot, and she didn't want me to go.
Of course.
And I was like, no, I gotta go. That's what I wanted to do. And so same as Billy, I always wanted to play basketball. I always knew that I wanted to do that. And people thought I was crazy. They said, oh, you're too small, you're too skinny, you will never go to the NBA.
Here you are.
Yeah, because back then, the NBA was impossible for us. You know, it was only, 5 Europeans before us? In my position, nobody made it. And so that's why everybody thought I was crazy. Like, my mom was like, what you talking about? You know, going to the NBA. And I just had it in my mind. That's what I wanted to do. And so then I did the 2 years in INSEP, and my mom came every weekend, same thing. She came to support me every weekend. And my parents was very, very supportive, and they came to every game. That's why I have a lot of respect for the parents who do that, because I don't know if tomorrow my kids say, I want to do this, I don't know if I can be there every weekend to every game. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly I'm changing my life and I'm going to every game, like my parents, especially my mom.
I watched every games as well.
Every game.
Did somebody of your parents pressure you, let's say?
No, it was just love and support. Love and support.
I think this is one of the
This
really
is what I want to
important.
say, that it's very important for the parents who don't put pressure on the kids, but only support. And
It's true.
you know, if the kid is gonna play, he's gonna play for sure.
Exactly.
Let the coach talk with the kid.
Let the coach. My dad was a basketball player, and my dad never came and talked to the coach or blah blah blah. No, the only thing that he helped me a lot, it was like the mental part. Like after tough losses and stuff like that, how we should react and stuff like that. He'll give me like advice and stuff like that, but he will never tell me, oh, you should do this on the court or shoot or not pass the ball to him or stuff like that. Crazy parents sometimes they do. Never. And he was a basketball player, but he never did it.
I think this is very important, because I saw a lot of parents. I mean, they talk to the coaches, they talk to referees, they talk to everyone. So
and that's
honestly,
not healthy.
also
that's
I
not
didn't.
Healthy.
Actually, with Luka, I don't remember that I ever say one word about basketball. I mean, I'm not a basketball player, but still, you know, never, I
think you watch enough that you can say something if you
true.
wanted to.
That's true. That's true, maybe.
You know, when you get a call from a EuroLeague champion, you know, there is not many doubts it just felt like the best fit for me in the, the best leagues in Europe. So there wasn't many, doubts about that. But for my success in basketball, I think it definitely starts with my family being super supportive and always being there. But I was really, lucky to have a lot of good coaches in a lot of different places. Obviously, Serbian coach is known for, all the fundamentals you learn and stuff like that. And also in Spain, I had a really good coach that really helped me become a really good post player. In high school as well, I had a coach that really gave me the freedom to kind of figure out and show all the skills I can develop, let me do everything, and help me for the future. Today is my first game of the EuroLeague, so I can, get on the court and really experience that atmosphere for the first time.
Petrusev wants to go one-on-one against Tavares. He goes up and he gets the and one, and that'll make the young man at 21 years old to feel good as the big man once again goes up. Felipe Petrusev getting a good look at him tonight. Something on the break.
I just think if you're a young guy, you just find a place where you will play professional, where it doesn't have to be EuroLeague, it can be like a lower level competition, but just find a place and a team that will let you play like a lot of minutes and let you show what you can do. And that way you'll definitely be seen by those people, and you'll be, whenever the time is, you'll be ready, to get to the next level, I think.
Nothing there, and the big man again, the young guy to the basket, having himself a night here in his first EuroLeague game. It's Felipe Petrusev. That's his 17th point of the night on 5% from the line.
Mental health is very important. You all seem to agree about it. How was it for all of you, or for Luka? Like during the career, how did you manage the pressure? Was it like how it is today, or can you see a change?
Me personally, I had no pressure about basketball because I was blessed that I make what I love. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people in their lives, they make different jobs just to survive. So after a bad practice or a bad game, I have to work in my mind and in what I didn't do correct to improve them, but not to lose my faith or my confidence in basketball. I was very, very hard, with myself, and very strong mentally that when I put a target for myself, I do everything to make it happen.
I think with Luka is pretty much the same what Willie said, because he has confidence. So I think this helps them a lot. And also I think that's why it's important when your kid goes with 13, because of the mental health. And I have to say I'm grateful to Real Madrid team, because when he went there was also one guy, Dani Sarto. He was taking care of them, but he was really like a father to them. So I think this is very important. I mean, this support, and that's the same what you do in academy. This is important, like Tony said before, not just that they play basketball. Basketball is just a sport, small portion here, but everything else around is very important.
How did you manage all this, Tony?
Well, me, same thing. I can only talk personally.
Yeah.
A little bit like Billy, I was so confident that the only person that I will talk to, like a mentor, is my mom and my dad. Personally, I was lucky that my dad was a basketball player, so if I had stuff that I wanted to know, I can always talk to him. About life, my mom, she was always big and find, the happy middle, when everything is going good, not be too high and have the big head. When everything is bad, don't be too hard on yourself. It's only basketball, you know what I mean? And find the happy middle is more important stuff in life, So I had a great balance, me, with my parents, and so I was blessed with that.
Here, for example, are just teenagers, like 13, like you're still like having to deal with school and like with normal problems, and sometimes when, like in the case of Yuste, for example, there's so much like hope for her that we can even forget that she's just so young. I remember the day Yuste arrived at the academy. I remember like the first chat we had together, and thankfully she was having a really good mastery of English because she had almost no words in French. And quickly she really adapted well to the environment. She learned French. And I'm very proud of how she's doing now, and the mastery of the language, it's pretty impressive.
So it all started in 2019 after the Under-16 European Championship. Tony was interested in me, he called my parents, and later that year, in December, I decided to come here. A whole new experience, you know, you leave home, it's hard, you leave your parents, your friends behind, but I feel like you have to just get out of the comfort zone. That's what I did. I feel like I made a good decision to come here. You have everything here, you have 3 nice gyms, you can come whenever you want, you can practice, so I feel like it's really an academy made for just to pursue your goals and everything. So there's everything you need, really. So to younger girls, I would recommend just to really get out of your comfort zone. Well, obviously I think it's gonna be harder every time I move, but I just like it, you know, going to different places, adapting, just meeting new people, trying new food. Honestly, I think I'm ready. I've been traveling since I was 12 alone, so I see no problem in that. And yeah, new places and stuff, I'm excited for it, yeah.
And how did you manage, like, with all the noise around it, like all the brands that contact the kids, or like all the agents around it, the coaches that have an opinion on many things? Like, how did you manage with all this noise around you?
At 16, 17, I was in every meeting, and I was asking the questions, and I was very involved, like right away.
The actor of
I
the
knew
situation.
what I wanted to do. Like, I was like, I'm going to choose, you know, who's going to represent me and who's going to... same with finance, you know, finance, I always was very involved. When most of the athletes, after 30 minutes, they're tired of it, me, after 8 hours, I'm still asking questions, and it's like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And that's why I was able to build out of this. I was very, very curious in finance.
And how about Luca? Like, I don't know, he probably had an agent, like, from the early age. Yeah, some mentors maybe, like people he can ask like questions to, or like, is it mostly you playing this role for him?
Usually, yeah, mostly I
Yeah.
did it, yeah.
Hopefully they have people like you
Yeah,
in the
which-
academy that they can
That's
count on.
important,
You
yeah.
know, what's his name? The guy who brought
Danny
Luca to
Sarza,
pizza.
yeah.
There you go, him.
Yeah.
You know, then you find, you know, little
Yeah.
mentors
Yeah.
that can help you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and this is important. I think this at that time this is important. Those guys, you know.
Do you also have like experienced things like that?
You know, I didn't care. I just only want to play basketball. So, you know, I didn't care so much. You know, I say, because back then, you know, we only want to play basketball and everything else follow this. We love only to play basketball and everything else come alone.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when the kids, when I do camps and stuff like that, and the first thing they ask me is like, oh, what it is to be famous, or what it is to make a lot of money. Like me, like you, when I started to play basketball, I didn't even know what it means, you know, all of
You
that.
don't care, you just want to
didn't
play.
care.
You
You
didn't
just
think
wanted
about
to,
it
I
at
just
all.
wanted to play basketball. And so, and then if I met a basketball player, I was like, well, how do you do this move, or how do you do this, you know, to be better as a basketball player.
Now you see young kids, they ask how much money he take, I want to make a lot of money. You know, we didn't care about money. We didn't even think about money. We only think how to become a better player.
But still, do you remember your first paycheck or the first moment, like, and like, how did you manage it as a young adult?
I buy a present for my mother, the first thing I did. I tried to save a lot and to make a present for my mother, and just to make some shopping, all these things, that buy shoes like all the kids, you know, that's it.
I think Luca, like both of them, I mean, basketball is his passion. He doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care. He just cares if he wins the game or not. So he really, I don't even remember when he got the first paycheck. He didn't do anything special because for him that was not, it was not important at all.
My thing was like, I play basketball, I wanted to get better, I wanted to be the best, I wanted to go to the NBA. But of course, when the first check comes, you know, what I like the most is I was able to help my parents. That was the most happiness that I had, is to change the lives of my family.
What's your perspective on education, on the way we can prepare like future players and prospects? Or
teams, basketball, soccer, like all the agents, they never really want to help, you know, take time, you know, to educate. They just say, oh, here's 2-3 companies and do whatever you want, you know what I mean? Or sometimes they only have one company because this agent has a deal with their thing and they do their thing, you know? And so that's why for me, it was like, I was always amazed. I think it starts with the athletes though. We don't talk to each other enough, you know, because it's like kind of like taboo, you know, like nobody wants to say anything, but we're the first one to show our brand new car, or our brand new watch, or like all of our diamonds. But we don't talk about the most important, is how we're going to keep all the money that we just earned. So at the academy, we educate our kids, you know, we do sessions, you know, about finance and stuff like that, because it's never too early to start training them to get good habits, you know, and discipline them. And hopefully, if they make a lot of money, they know what to do with it.
It's amazing. I would love to be young and, let's say, to be in an academy like this or like Real. And because
no, we're going to sign a pre-contract with all 6 of your kids. Not Madrid. Madrid has enough players, enough money. We small, you know what I mean? No, I'm joking.
First of all, my kids, my boys play basketball, 3 of them. And first of all, I will teach them to do what they love, not to do something because their father did it. And you know, I will teach them to be good persons and to follow their dreams. I'm very happy that I will coach the young, big prospects and big talents in the Adidas tournament. It's always in my mind to give back to basketball, and especially to young kids, to the next generation. If I can help them just a little bit to improve their character and their basketball knowledge, I will be very proud. I recommend teenager players to be humble and most important to love basketball and to love to work. And, like I say also to my kids, you know, if you love someone, if you love something, you are blessed because you are doing what you love. So make it with passion, make it with good mood, and even if it's painful sometime or if you are tired sometime, if you love something, you avoid all these things, and you know you finish everything with a smile.
But what do you think is like the most important thing? If you could like create a new education curriculum here, like what would you make sure that the prospects can learn?
If we can, and if we have the ability to give back to the kids and to give back to the next generation, is something that I would love to do it. It's like,
for me, it's priceless. It's priceless when you can see a smile on the kid, and you had an impact, you know, on the community. And I think that's nothing better. You know?
I think it's also important that they speak up, you know, because I think sometimes kids are shy to speak up how they feel bad, and I think education in this way it's really helpful for them, you know, that they speak up, they say what they feel.
I think the most important is the values that you grow up. And the other thing is that it's very important to understand that we are not something different because we are good in something. Okay, we are blessed because we find in ourselves what we love, but we have to remain normal people and to help each other, to everybody to become better. And it's good to have idols, the kids, so they will follow their steps. To have good idols, to have good friends, and we have to, and our choices have to be correct. Because one friend told me that choices is your destiny, make your life and your career. And it's important to make good choices.
It starts with values like this that you see through your parents, you know. I saw my dad get up every morning and go to work, you know, so it shows me discipline and work ethic, you know what I mean? And if you have the right values, you'll attract the right people to be around you, because then friends play a big role or two, or how you surround yourself and all that kind of stuff.
Parents are role models. That's definitely, and if they have these good role models, they can continue. Of course, there are some obstacles, and depends which people you meet, but still the parents are the role model, I think so.
Do you think we can also educate to success and like make sure that they don't, young players don't get like overwhelmed, or that it doesn't get too complicated for them to manage it?
So I think it's important to talk about both options and what can happen in life, and that if you don't make it, you can still be happy and you can still feel happiness, because the most important in life is to be loved and have happiness and be healthy. You know, that's the number one thing. People, sometimes kids, they think like if they don't make it, it's the end of the world. And so it's not, you know, maybe that was not your path, maybe that was not your destiny, you know, it depends, and they can do other stuff. It's a lot of stuff, even if you wanted to stay in sport. You can be a coach, you can be a trainer, you can be an agent, you know, it's so many ways if they wanted to stay in the sports world, that you don't have to be 100% like a basketball player.
Yeah, that's why it's important how you educate them, that failure is nothing wrong. I mean, maybe you can just, you know that you learned something new and you go on. That's why this education, I think it's very important.
Since we often speak about educating the kids to failure, like to make sure that they have like an open mind on things, so that if they don't manage to get what they want, at least here it's really what we focus on. It's to make sure they have not a plan B, but like an open mind, so that if it doesn't work the way they expect it to work, they still find a path for themselves.
For me personally, I like, because I can see those kids very young, and if they don't make it, I always try to take in our pool to take them and give them a job. And it happened many times already that because I saw their work ethic and they didn't become professional, but I was like, oh, I can see that person being in marketing or blah, blah, and so I think it helps, you know, for teams to do that.
And you, Vasilis, do you think it's important for clubs then to build on academies, like to make sure to invest on the young generation?
Yes, I think it's very important, and it's different loyalty, and it's nice to see a kid from young age, how he grow up, and his improvement through the years, and to grow up a kid, to educate him, to build his character, to build his game, or to help him to become who he is. It's so nice.
Yeah, I think we're very lucky to see like the evolution, even just once again to see Houston like arriving like 2 years ago, 2 years and a half, and now like she's like a woman almost. Like it's really like yeah, we feel very involved in the process of their education, and then it feels like every time they achieve something, we're part of it, like somehow. Of course, yeah. Like I think it's great.
It's butterfly effects, but the reality is this: either one can manifest. I'm careful with my thoughts, just strive to be the best. A few things at a time, global warming to the side. Tonight I decided just to focus on a rhyme. I'll come back to world hunger, maybe another time. Fight the need to be a hero. We all try to play the role, but I'ma heal you with the song instead. The rhythm fill your soul, that's the spirit, take control. Like to hear it? Here it goes. See, it's been a long time, so many years ago. We stood in front of y'all, and these instruments provoke that voice inside your head to relax and let it go. This ain't politics, Genesis, Virginia Tech. And I'm not trying to suggest that none of that exists, but this world would be macabre if we were dwelling on that shit. So tonight, I'ma give it to you raw, in its purest form. Cut it how you want it, to the moon and to the stars. We give the gift of freedom if you can find it in these bars, cause within these city limits, hard to come by in these parts. And if only for a minute, you can define it in your heart. It's the connection between us, it's where the music starts. I'm gonna ball till I fall, gonna ride till I die. I'll never give in, yo, if I wanna survive. Not gonna swallow my pride, I'll never give up, cause when it's all said and done, is what I've done enough. I push myself to the edge, I push myself to the brink. Is the toil all worth it? It makes me stop and think. But through the mud and the mire, the joy and the strife, no one can claim that I didn't live all of this beautiful life.